What is this? Come on, what is this? I already cleaned this mess up. Why do we have another mess here? Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Decidedly Vanilla, the Die Chappie. So we got another delivery of Cactus, which I guess I shouldn't complain about. People are giving their Cactus over to the correct owner of it, the rightful owner of any dye-related items. Alright, so what do we got in this book? The rather confused dye dude. It has come to my attention that you have placed an embargo on my crop of cactus, claiming it to be dyes. My dear deluded fellow, these are not dyes, but cactus, a means of defense and beauty in this day and... it's probably supposed to say age. You, my dear fellow, are jumping the gun as many hours of processing is required to turn them into dyes and therefore are not currently not classed as a dye. Please find as a way to commune to you how beautiful the cactus is, my entire collection. There's a weird thing with books. If you write too much on a book, it actually like deletes the last line for some reason. So I'm assuming that there's words here, or there was supposed to be, but it's not including them. So my entire supply or something. I hope this clarifies my situation on this matter and hope not to hear from you in the future. A free citizen of Sea Haven. Well, these may be cactus. That is very true. They are not dyes, but they are still items that can be turned into dyes. They are still a dye-related item, and therefore under the jurisdiction of the Dye King. Obviously, that is, it's written in the code of, I don't know, the dye code that I have written. I mean, that was passed down from our forefathers. Why is there an anvil here? Did I put this here? I might have, because this is where my anvil goes. Yeah, so I still declare that cactus are under my jurisdiction. Anything related to dyes are, because they could be used to be turned into dyes. But anyways, I guess I got some dye to clean, or I got some cactus to clean up. Let's see what the damage is out here. And yep, that's a lot. That's a lot. All right. We are cleaned up once again, and I've added lots of cactus now to our dye storage, so that is wonderful. Let's head on over to Awuga's place real quick to give him a little thank you for his cooperation for delivering all the dyes that we had confiscated. So here we are at Awuga's underground dwarven base. Pretty cool place. I like that mask there. That looks awesome, right in front of the giant portal. So let's leave him our thank you note right here, just like we did with for Fwip. So, dear Awuga, thank you for delivering the raw, unprocessed dyes. Your cooperation with the Dye King is much appreciated. You've also shown me the error of my ways. I used to think that cactus had a multitude of uses. I see now they are ugly as a plant, dangerous to keep around, and overall only useful for their colorful properties. I look forward to your continued support of the royal dynasty. Colorfully, the Dye King. Alright, there we go. And I will have a link to Awuga's video where he delivered all of the dyes to us in the description. So if you want to check that out, make sure you head over there. But anyways, let's head back to Rangin Shahar. Today I want to get working on the skeleton farm, because that's kind of the last big dye farm we need to make. Once we get that made, then we can start bone mealing. Well, we'll get bone meal, which means we get whites and the grays, light grays. And then we can start bone mealing flowers again as well, and get all the dyes from there. And then we'll be pretty set up, and we'll be able to get dyes very quickly in the future. Right beside our cactus farm is going to be our skeleton farm building, our bone meal building. So that is, I've started doing some work here. This is the spawner that we found pretty early on, and wow, that looks really awesome. So I'm using some of Jappa's new vanilla textures. I overlaid my resource pack on top of it, so basically anything that isn't changed by my resource pack gets changed by that one, the new default textures. And that's just, I wanted to sort of play around with them or play the game with them to get a little sense of what the game is going to look like in the future. I'm not going to do any texture editing with them yet, but I wanted to get kind of an idea of what they're planning. So like sandstone and sand, I've edited, so we don't have the new textures for that. Same with like logs and the planks I've edited. But we got like the glass textures, the plants I really like, so I'm really happy to have those in here so we can kind of play around with those and see those. And the spawner texture, that is really cool. I like the little skull on there, the metal cage. I like it. Anyways, so we're going to do a pretty simple skeleton farm here. They're all going to drop down here and then go up the tower, and we're going to drop them. For the most part, I'm just going to kill them, drop them enough to kill them. But I will have it an option here that there'll be a piston that pushes out this block so that they land on there if I do want to kill them myself right here. But for the most part, we're just using this for dyes or for the bone meal. We can always go get experience out at the end farm. But then I'm going to take all the drops that they drop, put them in chests over here. I think we're going to have a mini farm, a bone meal farm, to get like tons of wheat and potatoes and carrots if I need any of that. I think we'll have that down here. And then upstairs, in the actual building here, we're going to build a tower around that to disguise that. But then we're also going to have, the flower farms, I think, are going to be right here for the 2 tall flowers. So we'll just have dispensers, bone mealing those, just like we have in the basement of the dye shop. And then I'm going to have some dye storage, I think, over on this wall. So we'll have all the dyes that we can make from the flowers, as well as from the we'll have the bone meal here as well. Anyways, I'm going to sleep and then get started, get this thing working here. It's working. It's working. We have a functional skeleton farm here at the base. One thing with this is I do have a glass wall so that we can look in there, which I really like. But we'll have to make sure that this room stays dark. That's fine. We'll put slabs on the floor. It'll be our dark basement where we harvest the skeletons. We do our sinister deeds. So pretty simple. The skeletons just fall down the tower here. I do have this button that pulls this block back so that the skeletons fall there and they're not supposed to die. I might have to adjust the tower height. I guess I have it maybe 1 block too tall. That could have just been a fluke, but I might need to adjust that. We'll see when more fall down here. Yeah, they do seem to be dying. Okay, so I'll have to fix that, but they're not supposed to die. They're supposed to just land there so you can kill them. But the way I have this is there's some pistons back here. They just get a 1-tick pulse from this monostable circuit. There's a piston right down there, and then there's another one behind this block. And what it does is when you push it, it pushes this block out and it pulls another one back under there. So you do that and it puts them both in the middle. You push it again and 1 block goes forward, 1 block goes back. And the reason why I have that is, well, first of all, when we have this, the blocks are out of the way, so the mobs will just fall down onto the hopper and die. And if we do this, then if there's any mobs that survive the fall, if they have like feather falling boots or something, they'll get crushed right there. And then our other mobs are supposed to be alive right there. And also, if you have mobs landing here and surviving and you don't feel like killing them, you can just open it up and then close it again and just crush them. Just kind of a way to clean it out. But anyways, all the items are getting picked up and brought over here with the hoppers. They're brought up and sorted. So we got 9 chests here for bones, these first 9. And then these 6 are for arrows, and then these 6 are for everything else. So all the armor and bows will end up in here. Anything else? So next, what I want to do is I want to get a bone meal farm over here. So we're going to do a very simple design. I think it's Etho came up with this. So we have 3 dispensers just like that. And then we'll do an observer block. I forget. They face away from you, don't they? So I might have to do something like this. And is that right? Yeah, there we go. Let's sleep real quick. And then we can place a block back here and put some redstone up to there. I think that should activate all of them. Let's grab some bone meal. Turn this into bone meal. Fill these up. We'll put just a stack in each for now. And then we'll need some water. So we'll put, maybe we'll just cover this up. We'll put water right there. Hopefully that there's no redstone to be broken around here. And then we'll till this up. And then we need to put a slab in front of here. So we'll do that. Oh, I might want to move this back one, I guess, since we have to have that slab there. In fact, actually, this is kind of awkward because you need to be sort of by it. I know the other one that I made, I put in the corner so that you're standing like right here. But basically, you just hold down right click and is that working? We got 18. Let's see. Yep, we're getting wheat. So it does seem to be working. Okay, now it's not. What's going on? It was working. 55, 53. Now it's working. That's weird. It like works for a little bit and then it stops. One thing we could try and do. Well, I tried some other things like putting redstone up here and also like bringing redstone all the way to those. And it doesn't seem to be any more effective. I think it's just sometimes it's like popping off before it actually gets bone mealed. I don't have enough bone meal at the moment to really test it though. We gotta wait for this thing to fill up. So for the moment this will do just fine. And the last thing I want to do is I want to make it so we can put some hoppers into here. Although I guess I should figure out how I actually want this to be so that we can stand near it and use it. There we go. I moved this thing back one block and I figured out how to stand here. I just lowered this a half a block so we can stand underneath the slab. We're going to slab out this floor anyway, so that works out perfectly. And then I put a little trapdoor to cover up the dirt there just so it doesn't look as dirty, I guess. And then I put some hoppers and some chests on each of these droppers so we can fill these up with the bone meal and keep a nice store of them. So let's try this out again and see how it does. We're getting our wheat. And okay, now it seems to be working pretty consistently, so that's nice. Oh yeah. And then I have a couple of chests over here so we can stick in our wheat and potatoes and carrots and other stuff that we're bone mealing. So that should work pretty nice. And that's going to be the downstairs. Obviously, I still need to decorate it, but I want to get everything working in this episode. So next up, we are going to move on to our flower farm up here. Well, I went ahead and finished this basement up, so it's looking all nice and clean now. We got this interesting curved roof in here. I think it looks nice. Pretty simple block choices. We just have white and brown, but it's dark down here anyways. It does the job. I like it. I also hooked up the redstone lamps to this button so we can deactivate the spawner if we want to. So that was pretty simple. And then I moved up here and built the our flower farm. So just have to flick the lever and it bone meals all of the too tall flowers. And then I have minecart hoppers under here in the dirt blocks. So those are picking up the flowers right away and putting them in hoppers and brought down to this chest here. So we can pull all the flowers out of there. Let's empty our inventory real quick. Get some of that out of there. So we can just pull these out. Looks like we're still getting them. It's kind of slow, apparently. Turn these into dyes. And then I have storage over here so we can put the red dye. That's not red. I don't like what he's done with some of the dyes. The same thing with the ink sacs. If you look at the new ink sacs in the new textures, it's like a gray. It's not even really a dark gray. It's kind of a light gray color. And it doesn't make any sense. Why would you make it not the dye color that it is? Like this is supposed to be red. Why would you make it this pinkish color? That's definitely something I will edit if that doesn't get changed beforehand. So from this building, we're going to get the red dye from the roses. We can get orange dye by combining the yellow and red. We're going to get yellow from the dandelions. We get the magenta from the peonies and the pink from the lilacs. And then, of course, we get white from the bone meal, which we should have some built up in here now. Yeah, a decent amount. I'm still filling up a lot of these bone meal chests that we have here, like these and the bone meal farm down there, the mini farm. So let's just turn this all into bone meal. We can put I'll just put a stack in there for now. Also, I did put some item frames up there, so then we can just fill these chests with the bone meal, get them all stocked up. Eventually they will be full. Let's grab one die from each of these as well, so I can put them up top in the item frame, so we can see exactly what we have stored here. And then the red, whoop, click the wrong space. Let's get these on the hotbar. All right, so we got the pink, magenta, yellow, orange, and red. All right, well, now I just need to build the facade around here, and that's going to be interesting. It's kind of the first building out here. I mean, we have the the greenhouse, but that I was just making a greenhouse. Basically, it's just a domed, or you know, like a, what would you even call that? It's not really a dome, but like an arched roof sort of. And the inkwell is all underground, and I'm still working on the temple. But the building design, the building style that I want to go with is the same that we used in Sea Haven for the dye shop. I just want to change up the blocks a little bit, and I think we're going to actually work on that next episode because we are kind of running out of time. What I'm going to do here, though, is I'm going to AFK at this place a little bit, get some bone meal, and then we'll head back to the dye shop, and we'll end off the episode visiting that place again. Every time I stop by Sea Haven, this place is looking even more amazing. We just added another new member to the server. His name is Mythical Sausage, and he's working on his townhome over there. That looks fantastic, and I think the best part about it is that he is building on both sides of the path. We have this path here, and this is going to continue through here and go right underneath here in between his buildings. That is such a cool feature. I love it so much. It actually makes me really want to come back here and work on my spawn home up there on the hill, and maybe even redo a bunch of it. Like, we haven't done any of the interior, and I've been planning on coming back here once we get some more stuff set up at Rangin Shahar, coming back here and doing the interior. But I think I almost want to redo a bunch of the exterior now as well. Kind of make the building a bit more interesting. I like the tower. I think that's pretty cool. But the rest of it is pretty boring. There's nothing of interest really there. But anyways, the reason why I wanted to come to Sea Haven and to the dye shop here was because I have cut my prices in half. I used to have these were 1 diamond for 16. Now it's 1 diamond for 32 dyes. We're producing dyes a little bit more quickly these days. We now have a place to get bone meal at Rangin Shahar, so I can just AFK there. So I've stocked this place up nice and full. Oh, this is what I was talking about, by the way. That's the new ink sac texture, and it's a weird color. It's very light gray, but it's darker than this, but it's also, I don't know, it's kind of bluer, and it has a little bit of like pinkish color to it. It's really weird. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I think that needs to get darkened quite a bit. If Mojang doesn't do it, I definitely will once they release those textures. But yeah, all these chests are full with stacks of 32. Even the lapis, I had plenty of lapis to fill this chest, to make all the cyan that I needed, make all the purple, and I still have a bunch left over. So everything is going pretty well here. The other thing I wanted to do here at Sea Haven was I've had this emerald ore in my ender chest, I think since the first day on the server. My first like initial caving session, I found this. Or I guess it would have been after that, because I wouldn't have been able to silk touch it right away. But still, I've had it in there for a while. And I kept it because I knew that Pixel Riffs here on the server is a fan of the emerald ore. It is like the rarest block in the game now that you can craft mossy cobble and chiseled stone brick. Yeah, it has to be like the rarest block in the game that you can get, and I think Pixel Riffs is kind of a fan of it. I remember him liking it last season, or mentioning that he liked it last season of Decidedly Vanilla, and he made one of these. Well, he made one of these last season, and now he's done it again this season. It's basically an emerald ore exchange. So it's the emerald fountain. Throw in 1 emerald ore. The fountain will reward you with 3 emeralds. So you just throw this in, and we get our emeralds. Yay! Okay, I was afraid that he does have that sorting thing right there, so it doesn't pick up the emeralds right away. But basically, this is so that instead of fortuning your emerald ores, you can just bring your emerald ore here in exchange for emeralds, because you can get emeralds from trading pretty easily, whereas the ore, you obviously can't. You can only mine that up, and it's very rare. And I know he's doing these really awesome beacons out at his jungle base. If you're not watching his series, you need to go check it out. The last 2 episodes, he made a redstone beacon and a diamond beacon. And I think he still has plans to do a gold beacon, a lapis beacon, and a emerald beacon eventually once he gets enough ore. But it's and by beacon I don't mean like this, like a pyramid. He's making like these giant diamond shaped things in the sky that disguise his beacons, and it looks pretty neat. But anyways, that is going to do it for today on this episode of Decidedly Vanilla. Next episode, we're going to head back to Rankin Shahar and get the skeleton farm done. And like I said, we're going to do a building kind of in this style, but with probably less of like the brown concrete and more of the sandstone to make it look a little bit more deserty. And I think that should look pretty good. I'm excited to try and replicate this build style, or build more in this style. Should be pretty fun. But if you enjoyed the episode, make sure to leave a like down below, leave a comment and subscribe, and you can support the channel over at patreon.com/theSirhc if you really like what you're seeing. But we'll see you next time. Goodbye, folks.